Hey everyone, and welcome back to MotivLearn. Today we're digging into something we all think about: success. We think we know exactly what it looks like, right? The corner office, the fancy car, the impressive bank account. But what if chasing those status symbols is actually holding us back from real achievement?
That's such an intriguing perspective. What made you start questioning these traditional markers of success?
Well, I've been exploring John C. Maxwell's groundbreaking work on success. And let me tell you, it completely transforms how we should think about achievement. He breaks it down into three fundamental elements that successful people do, and none of them involve material wealth.
Now, that's definitely a perspective shift. What's the first element that stands out?
Picture yourself on this luxury cruise ship. You know, the kind with endless buffets, entertainment 24/7, stunning views in every direction. But here's the twist: this ship has no destination, it's just drifting.
Oh, wow, that's actually quite unsettling when you think about it. The luxury almost makes it worse, doesn't it?
Exactly. And that's Maxwell's point about the first key element: knowing your purpose. He argues that life without purpose is just like that cruise. You might have some amazing moments, but ultimately, you're just floating through existence.
You know what's fascinating about that metaphor? It really captures how uncomfortable directionless success can feel.
Right. And this is where Maxwell introduces something he calls the power of a dream. But we're not talking about wishful thinking here. He's describing a deeply held vision that aligns with your core values and natural talents.
So, how does someone actually discover that kind of meaningful dream?
Well, Maxwell has this brilliant three-part framework. Examine your past moments of peak engagement, assess your present circumstances honestly, and then envision your future without limitations. It's like creating a personal roadmap based on real evidence rather than just hopes.
That's quite different from the usual follow your passion advice we hear so often. Mhm.
hmm And this leads perfectly into his second key element: growing to your maximum potential. You know how most people see success as reaching some final destination? Maxwell completely flips that idea on its head.
How does he reframe it?
He sees success as this ongoing journey of growth. And here's where it gets really interesting. He believes your attitude is the engine that drives everything. He has this powerful statement: your attitude determines your altitude.
That sounds like more than just positive thinking, though.
Oh, it definitely is. Maxwell sees attitude as this force that literally shapes reality. Your beliefs influence what you perceive, and those perceptions create your actual experiences. And get this: research from the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that people with growth mindsets are 45% more likely to achieve their goals.
So, what's the third element that brings all this together?
This is where Maxwell really elevates the conversation: sowing seeds that benefit others. He argues that true success isn't just about personal achievement, it's about creating positive impact. Studies show that people who regularly contribute to others report 42% higher levels of life satisfaction.
That's fascinating data. How does he suggest implementing this in practical terms?
Here's what's brilliant: he emphasizes that it doesn't have to be grand gestures. Small, consistent actions matter more than occasional big ones. And you know what's really interesting? Research shows that people who mentor others are 6 times more likely to be promoted themselves.
That completely changes how we should think about giving back, doesn't it?
Exactly. And here's another surprising finding. Maxwell's research shows that your social circle literally determines about 95% of your success or failure. Think about that for a moment. The people around you aren't just support, they're actually key factors in your achievement.
That's quite a striking statistic. How does he suggest managing these relationships?
He advocates for what he calls intentional association, basically, being strategic about who you spend time with. Studies show that people who regularly interact with high achievers are 40% more likely to achieve their own goals.
You know what really strikes me about this whole approach? It feels so much more sustainable than the traditional chase for status symbols.
That's exactly what makes Maxwell's perspective so powerful. Instead of pursuing external markers of success, he's talking about building a life that's meaningful and impactful in ways that actually matter. And the data backs this up. People who define success in terms of personal growth and contribution report 65% higher levels of life satisfaction.
This really makes you question those traditional pictures of success we started with, doesn't it?
And that's precisely what Maxwell intended, to help us see success not as some distant mountain peak, but as the journey we're already on. It's about transforming our definition from a snapshot to a story, from accumulation to contribution. The research is clear. This approach leads to both greater achievement and greater fulfillment. So, keep this in mind. That's going to wrap things up for today, folks. Thanks for joining our show today. Until next time. See you in our next video right here on MotivLearn.